uncharted territory on specifically, what happens after the report goes in. The Water Board defaulted on their loan to the bondholders, and they handed the utility to me, and frankly the financial situation was a lot worse than anybody thought.
Well, the deadline fast approaching for the court-appointed receiver running the Prichard water and sewer system to submit that master plan to a judge.
A key part of that plan will be what happens after the receiver leaves. Fox's Brendan Kirby has been following this since the bank servicing a loan sued the water board over a bond default.
All right, Brendan, we have talked about this before, and there aren't any easy options.
Yeah, no, they're not, Lenise and Shelby. There are only a handful of options on the table, and some of them might not even be viable. It's a system that needs $400 million in repairs over the next 2 decades. This Thursday, a citizens advisory panel will hold its last meeting before that master plan is due.
I'm not exactly sure.
John Young Jr. is running short on time and short on options as he puts together a master plan for the water system that serves Prichard and Chickasaw. Possibilities include the Mobile area water and sewer system absorbing it, Chickasaw taking over the pipes and equipment in that city, the city of Prichard taking over the portion of the system in Prichard, or the sidelines Prichard Waterworks and Sewer Board resuming control. Young, appointed by a judge who found the water board in default on $55.78 million that it borrowed in 2019, says he's gathering the facts and receiving input. But he says he knows he has to tell the judge something by the end of this month.
My hope was that I'd be able to make a specific recommendation, and I'm still hoping I can do that, but it may be that we may need some more information on a particular alternative before I can be specific.
And that's because there's pros and cons with every option. Malls has the resources to address deficiencies in the Prichard system and a familiarity with the utility since it sells the water that the Prichard and Chickasaw system sells to its customers. But that option would require legislation and a constitutional amendment, and it's far from clear Malls even has interest. Severia Campbell Morris, president of United Concerned Citizens of Prichard and a member of the Citizens Advisory Council, says she delivered a petition with 400 signatures asking Malls to support a takeover. Morris says she hasn't gotten a response. She says she's against the Prichard Water Board returning the power or letting the city of Prichard take it over.
We don't want the city of Prichard doing anything, as the city of Prichard is not functioning as a city. The proof is in the pudding. The city can't even keep the grass cut. So how can they operate and run the water?
The Prichard City Council recently passed a resolution backing Mayor Jimmy Gardner's support for the Prichard Water Board returning the power, or as an alternative, the mayor suggests the city could pursue the same kind of public-private partnership that the Water Board has pushed for. That would be a long-term contract with a consortium of firms that would invest up to $100 million for upgrades to the system in exchange for profits over the next 40 years. Morris says she's dead set against that. So is Carletta Davis, president of We Matter 8 Mile Community Association, who also sits on the Citizens Advisory Council. She says that she'd like to see a brand new board with a different appointment process and stringent requirements replace the current board.
That's ideally what we would like to see. Certainly not under the circumstances by which we've had them, but we would definitely like to see retention of our assets.
I mentioned that Citizens Advisory Council meeting this Thursday at 2. Members of that panel plan to meet without the receiver earlier in the day. Davis tells me that she envisions a formal vote making a recommendation to Young. He's got broad power, but he's still constrained by state law. For instance, even though Chickasaw leaders say that they would like to take over the water system there, Young says it would have to be approved by the Prichard Water Board. Reporting live in the News Center, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.